On some continuing with our tips and sites and tricks, make sure you are checking out Go PFW, the career development tab. A lot of things that you need for the seminar class or for this like once a semester check-in are here, plus other stuff you never knew you needed. So for example, a professional resume is required. There's some tips here on resumes and cover letters. And a Handshake profile is required. There's a link to Handshake. A mock interview is required. There's the link down there to Big Interview. And some other things that are helpful out there, like I really like this job scan activity. It's you put in a resume and put in a job description, and it uses the AI tracking systems to tell you what percentage match you are. So it's a really good way to check, is your resume tailored to each job you're applying for. And it could be as simple, instead of saying like the job description asks for Microsoft Excel and you just wrote Office Suite, it's not going to be a match because of the applicant tracking system. So you got to make sure you write in Microsoft Excel. As a reminder, all of these activities we're discussing are available for passport points, and you can track those things that you're doing. And it's usually just one more step to show that you did it. So for example, you could just do big interview, mock interviews all day, every weekend. Sounds like fun. But one time you need to go into the suitable app and do the activity mock interview and put the link for one time that you did it. And that's how you get passport points. I don't know what you're doing unless you track it through Suitable. Okay, so we're going to deep dive into Handshake. It has had a few updates in the past year, and this year it's going to be even more necessary than ever before. I have gotten so many robocalls today. See, when you have an elevator pitch, people are like, who are you? What do you want? So first of all, I'm going to really encourage everybody to download the app. At the career fairs this year, you're going to have a chance to check in with each employer, like to scan a QR code and show who you talk to. So then a month from now or a year from now, you can go back and look at who is that person I talked to. Like in a cover letter and an interview, you want to say, oh, I met Alex or I met Sam. That's really good. And then they'll have your information. So the Handshake app is really necessary. And did you hear me say that the employers will have your information when you scan in? So that's why the Handshake profile is also going to be really important this year. So the reasons to use Handshake. Get hired, obviously, if you're looking for a job. This is a good place for that. If the job is posted on Handshake, that means they want a Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodon student or alumni. They have taken the time and effort to go post it on that website. So unlike Indeed, it's a lot more curated and specific to you. Of course, there's other ways to find a job, like LinkedIn and your mother's uncle, but this is a good place to look at as you're exploring. And any employer who asks me, how do I hire students? I send them to Handshake. So it's something for you to be looking at. Also, it's to get discovered. Just like LinkedIn, recruiters are using Handshake to search for you. So let the qual analytics do the work for you and let them find you. We also use it sometimes. Like I just had somebody ask me from Parkview how many students are interested in the healthcare industry. So I was able to find that 93 of our students are interested in the healthcare industry. And I could share that information with Parkview if you had a public resume. Or the one time Buck and I needed to find somebody interested in sustainability for a scholarship. And how are we going to do that? So I looked at people's interest and who said they want to work in sustainability, and we found the 3 people, and we emailed them and said, apply for this scholarship. It's also a great way to get connected with employers. Remember that Handshake is used in Northeast Indiana, but it's also a global network. So if you want to connect with Meta, they are probably not going to come to our career fair, but they are on Handshake. So you can just connect directly with the employer through Handshake. And especially for remote jobs, you can work from anywhere. And finally, connecting to your career center for career resources and activities and events, things like that. So like I said earlier, this is a global website. There's 1.5 million jobs and internships over the past year are posted to Handshake. So that's why it's really annoying to scroll if you don't use the different filters well, like location or type of job or industry, because there's so many opportunities out there, but there's so many opportunities out there. So if you're looking for something very specific, like a lot of our students are interested in sports management, I just did a search last week and I found 40 roles in sports management for right on Handshake that were posted recently. So definitely good opportunities out there. And a lot of times you'll get exposure to different ideas you've never considered being a part of before. So this student was able to find the Florida Native Plant Society. You know, if she's a digital marketing student, she probably wouldn't have clicked on something like Plant Society as somewhere to work. But she discovered that this is a really cool opportunity to draft legislation for the state of Florida. So sometimes you don't think of a company name, but you think of an opportunity, and then Handshake can help you match with those opportunities. Like I said earlier, you want to use Handshake so employers can find you. Even if you're already working, which most of you already are, it's good to be open to other opportunities. And if you don't want to be, just make your profile private. Absolutely no problem. There's no requirement from the Doermer School of Business that you have a public resume. I'm just making recommendations if you would like it to be. So if you would like to be findable, you can have a public updated professional resume. And what I'm going to do with those resumes this year for our employers who are sponsoring the career night, there's 5 employers so far. What they get is I'm going to download the resumes of the students who have a public resume and are registered for the fair, and they'll get those before the fair. So they might even reach out to you or be able to connect with you another time. And they keep those for probably a year or two. And then as other opportunities become available, they might reach out to you. And they usually do that before they even post a job. So you need a public resume. You please list previous experience, including class projects and activities, especially if your previous experience isn't completely related, easily related to your current job, or it's not very clear based on the job title. Then any type of class project or volunteer work is a really good way to round out your profile to show what you've been working on. And your interests, like I already discussed, if you're interested in retail or you're interested in Georgia, let people find you. So like Isadora, for example, somebody reached out to her specifically and sent her a recruiter message. Handshake is trying to curve the number of messages you're getting from employers. I don't know about you, but I've gotten a weird increase of things that I have no interest in on Handshake. And so they're trying to make it that employers have to take a few more steps to actually match to the students they're reaching out to, and that you can opt out of messages from certain employers. So if you've gotten things in the past from XYZ company that you have no idea why it's a match, it's going to be easier to filter those out. But it is something at least to just scroll through, because you never know. And it's the other way around now. You can reach out to employers. So if you've noticed any job postings lately, you can actually see down here like who posted the job and if they're open to messages. So you can send them a message and say, I just applied for this role. I'm really excited about it. Or I have a quick question. I see that it says business classes required in the experience. Can you elaborate a little bit more? I've met the 200 level. Do you mean 300 level classes or a specific course? So you can just ask questions to help set yourself apart. And you can even set up like a virtual chat right through Handshake to meet with them. This is great for informational interviews. Sometimes maybe there's nothing posted right now for Ash Brokerage, but you'd really like to work for that company. You could reach out to them and say, could we chat for 15 minutes about how I can be more competitive for Ash in the future? Also, obviously, you can find lots of events, like today's workshop was found on Handshake, or a lot of different things their different employers offer. Like you can see here, like Deutsche Bank or Fidelity Investments or Google, they have their hosting events. Even if you're not convinced you want to work for Google or you want to work for Fidelity Investments, these can be really great opportunities to attend because you get some cool insights. Like I attended one with Yelp last year. I don't want to work for Yelp. I don't know if my students want to work for Yelp or not, but I learned about how the Yelp recruiters are using Handshakes, like I was talking about earlier with interest and how they're searching and what they're doing. So something I'd really recommend that you watch. And the Career Center, lots of different programs through there. That's how you make an appointment with anybody in the Purdue Fort Wayne Career Development Center. I would recommend Tom Utenage. He's our business liaison. And we are currently working on our employer collections to help you find which employers have invested in Purdue Fort Wayne with their time or with their interest. So now that you've seen Handshake a little bit more, I want to remind you about your other resources of people. Something to think about is who is in your board of directors, who are your support network, who are these people that are going to help you. So if you're wondering who to go to for what, I'm working the Doermer School of Business. I'm in charge of professional development and outreach. So I'm in charge of the Passport to Success program. And I'm also in charge of employer relations. So if you really want to get connected to Lincoln Financial Group, I probably have a good contact for you, or I probably can give you a little bit of insights of what they're looking for, or maybe some culture, or maybe you just want to ask like, who's somebody that really believes in professional development? Or who's somebody that has a cool office downtown? I could probably help you find an employer that meets what you're looking for. Next up is the graduation guy. That's Buck. He's your academic side. Of course, he can help with all of these things as well. But if you're wondering who to ask about what minor to do or how to fit things in, he's the problem solver, puzzler solver. He can really help you with the academic side of your professional success. If you just need a person to meet with, you want somebody to do a resume review, I would be more than happy to meet with you. You can schedule an appointment with me through the link in my email. Schedule an appointment with me, or you can go through Handshake and meet with Tom. He's the career counselor for the Career Center. He has more availability than I, so he's often available and would really love to meet with you. And finally, everyone in the Doermer School of Business after 30 credit hours has a faculty advisor. So this is your person that I called him the reference referee. If you needed a reference, I can't really write that for you. I haven't hired you and I haven't had you in class. So it's very hard for me to say anything on a letter of reference about you other than they signed up for 3 Handshake events and attended none of them. I don't think you want me to write that. So instead, you think about really connecting with one of your faculty members. And they can also help you with grad school, research opportunities, conferences, competitions, different employers, different tracks. You know, you might just say something like this chapter on supply chain logistics. That was really interesting. Are there any electives in that? Are there any jobs in town that have to do with logistics? Is there a master's degree in that? People who are experts in their field can help you become an expert in different professional organizations or things to think about. Buck, do you have anything to add about your people?
Oh yeah. Like how Meg said, this is like a suggestion, of folks that are on your team. Don't be afraid to, get people from outside of business on your board of directors too. You know, like there's all kinds of centers across campus. You know, people that you connect with are super important, because they can lead you places that, you know, just like these people on the screen can lead you to places that you might not be expecting. So so definitely get with people from outside of business. They'll be able to point you in directions.